Hello viewers, welcome to a fresh episode of Behind Reality Podcast on UrbanPop Radio, where we discuss matters that mean so much to Nigerians. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing something very, very important that affects millions of Nigerians: sickle cell. My name is Betty Idowu, and I'm going to be your host for this episode. Of course, you know I do not do this alone. Today, I have with me in the studio a transformative educator who is a sickle cell warrior and a young woman who has dedicated her life to lending a voice to impact and ensuring that sickle cell is not only a topic of awareness, but also a topic that helps us to see life beyond, the fight against sickle cell. Welcome with me to the studio, Ms. Dorcas Atolagbe. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here with us.
I'm so glad to be here.
So quickly, can you share with us, for people who may not know you, what is life like as a warrior, and outside being a warrior? Just give us a brief insight into what your journey has been like.
Okay, thank you. My name is Dorcas Atolagbe. I'm a sickle cell warrior. I was diagnosed with sickle cell from childhood, and I've gone through a lot, ranging from osteomyelitis, that is decay of the bone, of the joint, and a lot of complications, to partial stroke before the age of 10. I had to navigate that. Before I could even realize I'm alive, I had to go through the stress of partial stroke, and I went through a lot of academic problems. But the beautiful thing is I was able to scale through. And I'm out here this day to tell everyone listening to me, either you are a sickle cell warrior or not, that regardless of what you go through in life, you can become what you want to be. The only thing you need to do is to think and to dream about it. Don't stop dreaming. If there is a will, there is a way. Thank you.
I know that response you give is just like a brief and a rich version of, everything that your life has been like since you got to be diagnosed with sickle cell. But I'm really curious to know, what are some misconceptions that you believe that so many Nigerians have, about people living with sickle cell?
Okay, I think by misconceptions you mean myths about sickle cell. A lot of myths are flying out there, and number one is that a sickle cell warrior is weak. A sickle cell warrior is someone that cannot achieve his or her goals, and that is wrong. When you say a sickle cell warrior, we work with our mind. We don't really follow the dictates of our body or what our body is saying. So sickle cell warrior are a strong set of people. Another myth that we hear out there is that at a certain age, sickle cell will leave. But I want to say it that sickle cell has to do with the gene, not with, and it does mostly with the gene, and it cannot be changed except by miracle from God. So with age does not change sickle cell. Another myth is that people with sickle cell are not productive. You need to say a lot of people. An example is Adekunle Gold. He's a singer, he's a musician. He has his own NGO and he's doing well today. We have a whole lot of people out there as sickle cell warriors doing great things. And another myth is that sickle cell warrior cannot marry, or they will die soon, or that they cannot be productive, they cannot be fertile. No, I have seen more sickle cell warriors giving birth to healthy children. Yes, healthy children. And the thing is that sickle cell is only a health condition. It is not a death sentence. And there's something I want to address this morning. I discovered that in our society, sickle cell warriors, we experience a lot of stigmatization. We are not being accepted into the society. Please, I want to say it that whenever you see a sickle cell warrior, they are not their sicknesses. They are not their challenges. Please be fair to us. Because in the workplace out there, it is not fair. What we are going through, it is so pathetic. You can imagine people trying to stigmatize a sickle cell warrior because of their health condition. Yes, health condition can hinder us from doing one or two things. But once we are up, we can do great things and we can become whoever we are. We are just as normal human being who has dreams, who has goals and want to become someone great in life. Please let the society give us the opportunity to do so.
I really love your response because it has, touched on two things that I really want to talk about. First part, you made mention of marriage, having kids, having children, how many people feel like, oh, as a sickle cell warrior, you can't have your own kids. It now brings me to the conversation of genotype, right?
Okay.
How important is genotype, particularly for people who would, really be interested in getting married but have sickle cell? So this question is in two ways. I want you to respond to the part of sickle cell warriors who desire to get married, and also people who want to get married but probably the person they want to get married to is a sickle cell warrior. How do we balance that? At what point should the genotype conversation come up, and how important is it, and how do people navigate that phase of deciding to marry a person because of sickle cell?
Okay, thank you very much. What you said boils down to stigmatization in the society. A lot of sickle cell warriors has been marginalized. That you will soon die, she will soon die. No. Once you know that you love the person, a lot of sickle cell warriors have gone through series of heartbreaks. And I want to advocate this morning, please be fair. If you know that you cannot undo the health condition of that person, don't lead the person on. And be fair with whatever you are doing. Because the rate, I know a particular sickle cell warrior, she was doing fine, doing well, and at least she was a little chubby. But she had a heartbreak, and her life never remained the same. It was as though she was melting. It really affected every part of her. So please, we are humans too. We have the ability to love. We have the ability, we have emotions, we have blood running within us. So please, don't just stigmatize us and marginalize us that way.
No, sorry to cut you. So it brings me to the point where I want to ask. You made mention now that many people get heartbroken.
Yes.
So at what point should the genotype conversation come up?
Immediately you see a person that is interested in you. That should be almost the first thing
so that we don't just leave them on, and then you get so deep and you have to start ending the relationship after so much emotions have been invested.
Exactly. So immediately you should know, after your name, maybe your address or phone number, the next thing should be your genotype. So that you will know what you are up to.
Let's not waste each other's time.
Exactly. There's no need of wasting time. And I want to say that in the aspect of genotype, I'm going to genotype now. Genotype compatibility is very important. It cannot be overemphasized, because the rate at which Nigeria amounts to has the highest population of sickle cell warriors in the world. And it's heartbreaking. I've been a teacher, and I saw there was a pupil, one of my pupils in class, a boy of 9 years. She is a sickle cell warrior with a very serious complication of sickle cell, a vascular necrosis, which is hip decay. When I saw the boy, I almost couldn't cry. Sometimes he misses school. Some days he is very sick. He cannot. I just try to help him and to care for him in my own way. Another pupil I saw in, I think, primary 3. So please, genotype compatibility, it is very important. If you are AS and AS, you cannot marry. Now, I had a medical doctor who told, when he was about to marry, he knew his genotype, he knew the genotype of his partner to be AS. And when he was told that you cannot marry, he told those people, he said, it's because you don't know, you are not in medical line, you don't know how to handle sickle cell. That's the reason you are afraid of sickle cell. He went ahead, he got married. But when the child grew up, the child started education and is in university. There was a day he was called, he received an emergency call that the girl was sick. He had to start running. I only imagined if he had listened. Did he bargain for the stress he's going through? When he was saying that people that are not in medical line are the ones afraid, did he bargain for the stress the child is going through? No, let's forget about the parents now. Think of the child, the pain your child is going through. A child that has sickle cell warrior, anything that can happen apart from the death rate that is high. A person that survives it, a survivor of sickle cell warrior, will go through pain all through his or her life. So please, and something is happening in Nigeria that is really pathetic. The thing is, some labs in Nigeria gives wrong genotype results.
Because we've had so many cases where somebody will believe that almost all their life they've been AA.
Yes.
And then they get to the point where they want to get married, they realize that, they are also AS.
Yes.
Along that side, along with the person they want to get married. So I think I quite agree with you, that part where you said a lot of labs in Nigeria.
Yes. A lot of sickle cell warriors these days, their parents has the same pattern of story to tell. Even babies, I've had a lot. So what I would say is, in that case, make sure you do your genotype test in 3 or 4 different labs. If 2 are the same or 3 are the same, that's the correct genotype. It's a pity that so many people does not know their genotype, their real genotype. And some people, they claim it. It's not by claiming, it's not by faith. That's it. I've come to a lot of people. What's your genotype, sir? I'd be like, I am AA. How did you know? My mommy told me. A grown-up man.
At what age?
Yes, at the age of 30 upwards. You're telling me your mommy told you. Who does that? How now? How are we going to? It's not possible. You have to go and check this thing and be sure. In 2026, who does not know his or her genotype? You are not doing well if you don't know your genotype.
You've heard our guest say it. If you do not know your genotype at this point of your life, you are not doing well. Because, what are you doing if you do not know your genotype? So quickly, before we wrap up, I want to still ask one question. Sickle cell, affects not just the body, right? It affects your mind. It affects, life in general. So how has it been for you managing the effect of sickle cell affecting, other areas of your life? How have you also been able to navigate, and how have you been able to still stay this strong to this point?
Thank you very much for that question. Well, growing up as a child, when I didn't actually know my genotype because my parents did not reveal it to me early enough. I only knew anytime I go to school from primary school, I faint on the assembly. And there's a particular nurse that do give me injection. Straight away, you go to the nurse, you take the injection. But there was something profound that I did from childhood. It got to a stage. I knew that every time, almost every week, from assembly, sometimes I would faint during break, and they would take me home. So I just discovered that this issue of injection pricking, some people are very, very afraid of it. I just decided at some point, I spoke to myself, I said, doctors, come. This injection, you will collect it, whether you cry or not. I told him I was less than 12 years old when I did this. I told myself, you see that if you cry, you will collect. If you cry, you do not collect, you will collect it too. I just told myself, I said, maybe you should save your energy for crying and bear the pain. And that was the last time I cried for injection. Since then, sickle cell warriors and injection, we are like 5 and 5. Not even 5 and 6. And hospitalization. So when doctors are pricking your skin, you just be looking at them. Some people say, doctor, stop it. I say, let me see what they are doing to my body. So I think that is how growing up has been for me. And when I was growing up, I just decided, you have no option than to be strong. I have no option. Life did not give me an option than to be strong. Imagine writing examination in the hospital. I wrote WAEC in the hospital. Yes, I did. And during my undergraduate days, I was from exam hall, I was rushed to the hospital. And the exam I was writing with 2 other papers were taken along with me to the hospital. And I was told, then my PCV was low. It was around 11-12%. And I was mandated that I must write that exam before they could commence blood transfusion. So tell me how you will not be strong in that kind of situation. I told you I had partial stroke before the age of 10 that affected my left hand, my left leg. I am living with the impact till today. So tell me how a child will not be strong. I learned how to be strong. So there are some things I do that it is my own normal life. I met a friend some times ago. She told me, you are too hard on yourself. Learn to be strong. I said, sorry, life did not give me an option.
Than to be strong.
Than to be strong. You just have to be strong. You just have to be strong. And something that is helping me is believe that you will scale through. Because I tell you, death came for me several times. I have been on oxygen, life support on different occasions. In fact, there was a time I died. My spirit left my body. I was in Ife. I saw myself in dream in Ilorin. And I was going. I just remembered my mom and I woke up in Ife. So it's just determination to live. That is what I would say really helped me. I have faith in God. The God factor cannot be taken away. So when you believe in God and you believe that you can do, because the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And I will say that that Christ has strengthened me to this level. He also says that my grace is sufficient for you. And my strength is made perfect in weakness. So even when I am weak, I believe that I am strong. There is a kind of inner strength that you gather. It is not when your flesh is failing you, when your body is aching, as if there is a broken bottles, broken glass in each bones. And when your whole body is, there is a kind of inner strength that you garner at that period. And that is what will make you to pull through and survive.
That's quite very inspiring, I must say. Finally, before I let you go today, from the determination that you have shared, I know that you've been able to write a book, Scars That Shine.
Yes.
What inspired the book? I'm sure, part of your experiences have, inspired the book. But beyond just sickle cell, what message is the book trying to share? And also, what is your message to somebody watching right now who is probably a sickle cell warrior or not a sickle cell warrior, but is going through life's challenges and problems and is wondering, can I ever pull through? Can I ever make it through? What is your message?
Thank you very much. You said something previously that sickle cell does not only affect the body, and I quite agree with that. It doesn't only affect your body, it affects your mind. It affects the perception of your being, of yourself. And I would say I was depressed. I've gone through the street of depression several times. And I actually wrote Scars That Shine because I wanted to heal. When I was writing that book, I read it and it helped me. There was a day I was reading a particular chapters and I was in tears. Because I had to let go of a part of me that is aching. And the message of Scars That Shine is that regardless of whatever you are going through in life, you can still shine. You can pull through. That is not the end of your story. It is just a chapter. If you look on the brighter side of life, you will see better things is going to happen to you. Last year, I went through a season of depression I never imagined I could be through. And the way I came out was miraculous because I thought that was the end. I thought that was the end. I was suicidal. So, but I thank God for the gift of men that helped me. And here am I, by the grace of God. So I'm telling you that is listening to me, regardless of the situation you are going through, you can make it. Just stay there, hang in there. That is not the end of you. It is always darkest before the dawn. And trust me, the dawn is right here.
Thank you so much, man. Hanging right there. That is the word from our guest. And that is all we can take on today's episode of Behind Reality Podcast. We hope that you've been able to pick a message or two from this episode. We hope that you've been able to learn to treat sickle cell warriors with more empathy, not sympathy. And also, if you are someone going through life's challenge, you should know that there is hope for you. And that has been our message for you on today's episode of Behind Reality Podcast. My name is Betty Idowu. Till I come your way again, bye for now.